On today's episode of Watch Aero, this was not supposed to be the video I was making today. My Mini Cooper is hiding a big problem. What is going on, guys? I am Watch Aero, and today, like I said, we are in the shop with my 2012 John Cooper Works Mini Cooper that we have owned for almost 2 years now, I think. And we finally got the engine back in and took it for its first drive just a couple nights ago. And I didn't really plan on making another video working on this car because I figured it was basically done, and if there was anything left to do, it would take me 30 seconds and we'd be out of here. And the video for today was supposed to be taking this thing out and taking it for an absolute rip. I wanted to go out and get draggy numbers, show you guys how quick it is, especially now that we got the wastegate actuator fixed in the last update. We put a new key battery in it. I'll show you that right now. Finally back from O'Reilly's with some batteries for the remote for the Mini here. So we should just pop that guy into the back and then snap that right back into its position there, and hopefully the remote works. Ooh, was the battery not dead? Let's find out. All right, work. There we go. It just wanted to put back in the ignition. Good deal. You may have also noticed there's no more TPMS light when it started up. That's right. I snuck out here and got that fixed earlier. Got the wastegate actuation hooked back up. This thing is almost flawless. I just have to get it on the lift and plug in the AC compressor. I forgot one plug. So a couple more seconds and this thing is totally sorted, and we're not even gonna do that stuff on camera because she's ready to rock and roll. I'm just gonna go drive it. And like I said, we've got basically every code off the dash because I figured out the transmitter that belongs in the bumper for this wheel's TPMS sensor was laying on the floor over here, and it has a TPMS transceiver per wheel, and that one was just unplugged. So I slid it back in, plugged it in, one more light off the dash. We're knocking them out. But today it was 95 degrees and I knew the AC compressor was not hooked up. And that's because the connector was just gone. So today I put the Mini Cooper back up on the lift and started troubleshooting the wire mess. And through a process of elimination that it wasn't any of these other wires here, I figured this here has to be the AC compressor. So I did what anybody would do when they think they found the right wires. I pulled out my multimeter and I hooked it up to it. Got the meter hooked up to those two wires, went inside, started the car, turned on the AC, and of course I should have had 12 volts at the AC compressor, but I didn't. So I had to keep troubleshooting. I Googled and Googled, got a wiring diagram for the compressor, and some other people were troubleshooting it and they were like, these are the fuses, and I was like, fine, I'll start with the fuses. Guess what? Fuse F23 in the passenger side footwell fuse box, blown. So these wires have been sitting down here rubbing together, and of course once they shorted, the fuse blew. So the fuse did its job, protected everything, and I put a fuse back in it, hooked the Autel up, hooked the OBD2 reader up, hit activate on the AC compressor, 12 volts! We got power at those wires that are hanging down. But there's another problem that you guys have probably already figured out. The AC compressor connector is special. Well, it was special because all of that yellow plastic laying on the floor is from where I butchered that connector, just cutting it into a million pieces so I could destroy it and get it off the AC compressor and not lose any of the wire. So now you can see there's the factory wires to the AC compressor clutch right there. Basically this pulley out here freewheels until you give the clutch power, and it's just an electromagnet. It turns the clutch into a single unit when you apply power, and that's all you need to make the compressor run, right? You need to be able to turn it on and off because when you go full throttle, the compressors turn off automatically, and when they don't have load where it needs the compressor, it turns off. So now I have this all put back together with a weather pack connector that's gonna mount back up on the factory connector basically. If not, we'll zip tie it to keep it up out of the way. And a zip tie, it'll hold just fine. And now I have to come over here and extend these wires So they're supposed to run all the way down here through all of these zip ties, the factory zip ties, and then they come around that radiator hose and come in there. So right now, I've got to finish extending these wires, so I'm going to take some solder seal connectors and some wire and get all of this put together, and then put another weather pack on here, and in a couple of minutes we should have the AC compressor hooked up and ready to test. The system is charged, of course. After we put all this together, we vacuumed it down with the AC machine, and I think it's holding just fine. I put the gauge on it a minute ago and it was in the green, so we should be good as soon as I get all this put together. So give me another 20 minutes with the weather pack kit here and a little bit of wire out of our drawer of wire here, and we should have those wires extended and start making some cold air. And after that, we can get this thing out on the road and go for our first rip. And I'm excited to go for a rip with AC. It's 95 degrees outside right now. All right, here's our temporary build. You can see the wires come out of there. Brown should be ground because it's usually ground in every BMW, and runs into the brown ground harness right there. If you see all those browns, there's like 20 of them. So that runs down to our weather packs, which temporarily are just chilling right here. I'm gonna put this thing down, get it to the point where I can get in, start the engine and turn on the AC, and then hopefully the AC compressor kicks on. If it does, we'll go ahead and finalize this and put it in split loom and everything so it looks like it's factory. Already cut some fresh split loom, and that's ready to go on and get taped up here in just a second. So let's see if it works. Guys, I think we got it. It looks like everything turns on. It only activates for a second, but... Well, incredibly, I just managed to run over myself after I got everything buttoned up. I forgot to get the shot of all of that finished, but it's actually really nice underneath there. And if anybody has to work on it in the future, it should be perfect, other than the fact that they'll have to modify their compressor too. But it's very easy to do, and you can reuse those weather pack connectors with just a little bit of time. So I had this thing up on the lift, but since it's so low, we have to use those race ramps to actually get it on and off the lift, or you have to have two people and pick it up. So I let it down, and then I was buttoning up a few things in the front, putting the fuse box covers back on, all that stuff, and then the car started rolling, and I was like, what's going on? And it literally fell off the ramps because it rolled off the front, and then it had a ton of momentum and like slammed me back into the press. And luckily, the press was there because it's heavy and it stopped me. But with that said, let's go drive this thing. We've got AC now, and we'll go ahead and leave the hotel here. I mean, I think she's okay. Everything checks out. We got fluids, we got 134A in the compressor. It's a whole car. No wiper fluid, but whatever. The wiper fluid tank had a hole in it, so it does need a tank. It's daytime, and I feel bad doing this during the day. All right, that wasn't the one I wanted. I think we need low speed pops and bangs. It's the most fun thing on earth. This definitely has a tune because they do not do that from the factory. It is pop and bang city out of this car. Also, last time we took it out, there wasn't a tag on the car, so I figured we'd go to jail if we did that for too long, but now we're all good. This car is extremely fun to drive. I know, it's hilarious. All the Hot Boy mods on it, and you know, we love to hate on that because the quality of work's usually not there, but the result is roughly the same, and the result is really good. So, I did go get the draggy. We are gonna make some 0 to 60s and a quarter mile pull with this thing. So let's head on out to Mexico where we can make that happen. Guys, this thing pulls like a freight train. Here's a 20 roll. It somehow went into limp mode, but it still has all of its power. Just mid-pull, engine malfunction. I don't know, we'll check it out, but it's probably just mad because there's no secondary O2, and there never will be. Yep, the code that put us into limp mode was boost pressure implausible. So that didn't show up during the last drive. I don't think it's actually a real issue with this thing. It's probably just shaking everything out now that it's all hooked back up. So hopefully, we can go make a real pull now, and the draggy unfortunately was dead. I had it when we went out on the last drive. So what we're gonna have to do now is pull it off the charger real fast, and then I'll slap it on the roof and then we'll make our pull. So Unfortunately, it's been sitting for, well, since we did draggy pulls on the Miata, and it's just completely dead. Honestly, this draggy is super old now. It's probably 5 years old. I bet the battery's bad, but hey, you can charge it for a couple minutes and it works. Uh-oh, Spaghetti-O. I was out having fun with the Mini, trying to get that draggy pull in out in Mexico, and I don't know if this clamp was never there or what happened, but the radiator hose blew itself apart right there. And I mean, there's no clamp on there. I kind of think it was just missing. Luckily, we have another one. We even have spare hoses for this. So I'm gonna put it back together and refill it with coolant, but it made a nice pop when that happened. And smoke poured out of the back of this thing as the exhaust like lit the coolant. A lot of coolant on it. Whole lot of coolant everywhere. All right, guys, engine temps are holding just fine now. Put that clamp back on, put it back together, and vacuumed it back down. So, of course, the second drive of the car had to be disastrous, but I think we've got it sorted now. And the back of the car is covered in coolant that like hit the road and spewed up all over the place. So I gotta clean this thing off one more time, and then we'll get it back to the house, and I'll show you the results of the draggy run that we did pull off, but I think I let out like halfway through because it was really slow. Well, that is the end of the road for the JCW Mini Cooper on the channel. I know it's been a staple. It's been here for so long, but I drove it around a bunch more. Obviously went and washed it again at the car wash, got all the coolant off the back, and it was great. And this time I watched the tablet the whole time to make sure coolant temps never climbed, and they were perfect. 105 the whole time, not even enough to kick the fan on. So I guess we might have forgotten a clamp. That's just the reality of working on cars. But let's talk about that draggy run, because I've got it right here for you, and I'll put it on screen right now as well. You can see the road was too bouncy, honestly, for this car, because in general, being slammed like this, the suspension's pretty bouncy. So I got like a pretty wild bounce at the end and let out, and also I thought I might have been through the quarter mile already when that happened. But you can see at, it doesn't show me exactly what mile per hour. Yeah, it does. Close to 100? Close to, yeah, it's about 75 mile an hour if we're looking at this chart here, is when I let out. So 9.8 to 60, which is pitiful. It's horrific. And it's definitely not representative of what this car actually does. But the thing is, I launched it, and it was just wheel spin like you wouldn't believe. The first launch was a pretty normal one, maybe like 3,000 RPM, and then kind of dumped the clutch and power in. Traction grabbed it immediately and just shut me down, so I gave up right then. And I went ahead and let out, started a new run, and this time I like babied it in, you know, let the clutch out and then floored it. And that's what this run is, and the 0 to 60 is really bad. I figure a clean run is better than one where traction control jumps in and just shuts the car off. So that's what we have here. 8th mile, 11.7 at 66. So definitely not fast, but it's a 14-second car when it starts making boost on the big end. But instead, since I let out, we went 18.17. And actually, it looks like I was in the brakes from the G meter here. And I think I was. I think I got on the brakes pretty quick. So if we go find a perfect road, I might be able to pull off that 14. If we had a prep surface, we might be even faster, like 13s, but you know what? It's a lot of fun to drive it, no matter what Draggy has to say about it. And there's no before and after, there's only after, because it didn't move at all before. Anyway, got the AC compressor sorted out, we got the coolant situation sorted out, so hopefully for the next owner, this is a great car, and no matter what, it's a lot of fun to drive, and the pops and bangs are just perfect. Anyway, that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to head on over to shop.watchjrgo.com for cool shirts just like this. And please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do, and I will talk to you next time. Well, I was gonna put it back on the lift and put the other Mini under it, but you know what? I'm probably just gonna get this back out tomorrow, so let's not make it hard for me to get this car in and out. Sure is fun to drive.